Imagine waking up tomorrow, looking out your window, and instead of seeing the sun rise over the horizon, you see a giant, striped planet filling half the sky. That's right, Jupiter. Earth has ditched the sun and is now orbiting the king of the planets. Cool view, right? But, probably not great for survival. Let's find out. So, what if Earth orbited Jupiter? First, let's set the stage. Right now, Earth orbits the sun at just the right distance, the Goldilocks zone, where water can stay liquid and you and I can stay alive. But Jupiter is 5 times farther from the sun than Earth. That means if Earth packed its bags and started circling Jupiter instead, we'd suddenly find ourselves in a much darker, colder neighborhood. Think Alaska in the dead of winter, times about 50. Okay, but what would it look like? Picture this. Earth zipping around Jupiter while Jupiter itself is still orbiting the sun. We'd be one of Jupiter's moons, joining a crew that already includes Europa, Ganymede, Io, and Callisto. And honestly, we'd be the weird roommate. Those moons are icy, volcanic, or just plain frozen. Earth would be the only one walking around with beaches and Starbucks. Now, here's where things get fun, or terrifying. Jupiter's gravity is about 300 times stronger than Earth's. That's why it can hold on to so many moons. If Earth tried to orbit Jupiter, we'd have to pick a safe distance, too close, and we'd get ripped apart by tidal forces. Too far, and the sun would steal us back. Basically, Earth would have to find a sweet spot, close enough to be bound to Jupiter, but far enough not to get shredded. But let's say Earth actually manages to snag a stable orbit. What happens then? For starters, the night sky would never be the same. If you think a full moon looks cool, imagine a full Jupiter hanging overhead, 40 times bigger in the sky. You'd walk outside at night and instead of saying, "Wow, the moon is bright tonight," you'd be like, Jupiter is melting my eyeballs." It would be that massive, and depending on where you are on Earth, you might see its swirling clouds, its storms, even the famous Great Red Spot, basically a hurricane the size of Earth itself. But this cosmic postcard comes at a cost. Sunlight out near Jupiter is about 25 times weaker than on Earth. That means even at noon, the sun would look like a dim light bulb. Goodbye, blue skies. Hello, permanent twilight. Plants would struggle to photosynthesize, which means crops fail, food chains collapse, and humans. Well, let's just say we'd all need to invest in really good jackets. And then there's radiation. Jupiter's magnetic field is a monster, the strongest of any planet in the solar system. It traps charged particles from the sun, creating radiation belts so intense they can fry spacecraft electronics in days. If Earth orbited inside that zone, the radiation would be catastrophic. Think of living inside a giant microwave oven. Not great, but let's not be too bleak. There are some cool possibilities. For example, Earth's new neighbors, Jupiter's moons. From the surface of Earth, you could look up and sometimes see Europa, Io, and Ganymede as bright dots, way bigger and closer than our current moon. It would be like living in a permanent planetarium. And hey, if we somehow mastered survival in the cold, humans could launch missions to these moons with just a short hop, not a years-long space trip. Colonizing the solar system would suddenly be way easier. Okay, time for the big reveal. Here's the real kicker. If Earth orbited Jupiter, we wouldn't actually last very long. The drop in sunlight, the insane radiation, and the constant tug-of-war of Jupiter's gravity would make Earth uninhabitable pretty fast. Within a few decades, or even sooner, our oceans would freeze over, our atmosphere would thin, and life would collapse. Basically, Earth would go from blue marble to giant snowball with Wi-Fi that doesn't work anymore. So what's the takeaway? Jupiter may be beautiful, but it's not exactly landlord material. The only reason Earth thrives is because we orbit our sun in just the right spot. Move us a little too far in any direction and things get messy real quick. But hey, imagining these wild what-ifs is part of the fun. It makes you appreciate how lucky we are to live on this pale blue dot, orbiting exactly where we do. So, if you enjoyed this cosmic detour, hit that like button, drop a comment about what planet you'd want Earth to orbit instead, and don't forget to subscribe for more what-if adventures.